TV, episode number 3, I think, maybe 4, maybe 5. We're going to talk about subway issues, how to survive if you fall into the train tracks, how to survive. Okay, this past month, we've had 5 different people get hit by the subway trains. Okay, we had Kisuk-han, who was pushed into the subway by the deranged homeless man. We had Sunando-sin, who was pushed into the subway tracks, again, by a woman off her medication. We had a young woman in her 20s, her early 20s, who was drunk and actually fell into the subway tracks. All 3 did not survive. We had 2 people in Harlem in one day last week, okay? They both fell into the subway tracks, both got hit by the train in 2 separate incidents. One survived, one did not. Okay, before I go forward, I'm going to tell you, when I was young, I was a graffiti artist, okay? I was a little mischievous kid, and I used to go into the subway tracks and do graffiti, okay? And after I stopped doing graffiti, I started doing video production and actually followed some graffiti artists into the subway while they did their graffiti. So, I'm pretty much familiar with the subway tracks. I've been in the subway tracks multiple times, and I'm going to tell you how to survive, okay? Now, there are 4 basic ways you can survive if you end up in the subway tracks. Hopefully, you'll never need this information, but just in case, you never know, here's 4 ways you can survive. Okay, number 1. This is if you have a minute or 2. The train's not coming, okay? This is the safest way to survive. You go to the end, any end of the subway tracks, okay? On every single subway platform is a staircase, okay? It's only about 5 steps up. You can't see it because it's going out into the tunnel, but they're there. It's a staircase. 4 steps up, and you're back onto the platform on any side of any subway platform in New York City. It's either 4 steps or it's a ladder, 4-step ladder, okay? Number 2, you can go between the pillars, okay? Now, if you look at the picture of Kisuk-han, in the background, you can see these 2 pillars, okay? Go between those 2 pillars and stand there. That's in case you don't have time and the train is coming, you can go and stand between those 2 pillars. Now, listen very carefully. Beware of the 3rd rail, okay? What the 3rd rail is, the 3rd rail is the 3rd rail out away from the subway platform, okay? It has a metal rail, which the electricity runs through it, and it has a wooden rail on top of it. That wooden rail is for people to step on it, for the track workers to step on it when they're going across, okay? So if you step onto the wood, you're safe, okay? You go under the wood and step on the metal, you might get electrocuted and you might die. Seriously. Okay, so if you have to cross the tracks and stand in between the 2 pillars, the train does not go outside of that. The train is on the track. That's over the track. So stand in between those 2 pillars if you're in that type of station. Okay? That's number 2. Number 3. There are indentations in the wall. Some train stations have these indentations. Okay? The indentation goes into the wall. Okay? What that's for the track workers in case the train is coming that they can stand inside the wall. Okay? It goes out into the wall. Couple, maybe, who knows, 9 inches or something in. Okay, if you have no time, the train is coming, you have about 20 something seconds and you don't have time to run to the end of the platform, you cross the tracks and you stand either in the pillar or in that indentation. Okay, side note, some of those indentations have a sign that says no clearance. What that means is there's not enough space to shield you, meaning if you stand there in the indentation and it says no clearance, you might get hit by the train anyway. Just letting you know, okay? Now, number 4, absolute last worst case scenario, okay? Do not use this for any other time but worst case scenario. You're in the tracks, the train is coming, you don't even have 5 seconds to cross the tracks. You don't even have 10 seconds. You have no time whatsoever, okay? In between the 2 tracks, there's a space in between, okay? Lay down in that space and fold your arms, okay? There's about, I'm estimating about 9 inches down that you can lay down. There's space down there, Okay? MTA doesn't tell you this because they don't want, you know, foolish people to start laying down in the tracks as a prank and as a joke. It's dangerous. Okay? There are parts of the train that hang down and it may hit you. Okay? That's why this is your very last resort. Okay? You have a good chance to survive. You have a good chance to not get hit by the train or by any of those moving parts. Okay? Some train stations have like a little actual trench where the water goes through. Okay? And that's even a little bit more space and you can actually see it. So you can actually fit underneath there. So the way it works is there's a trench there, there are the tracks here, and then the wheels of the train go on top of the tracks up. So there is a space there. I'm telling you now, it's dangerous. There are parts under the train that move, and it may hit you, but it's a shot to survive, okay? If you remember the case of Wesley, what's his name? Wesley Autrey. Wesley Autrey, how he saved the man's life. The man had a seizure and fell to the tracks, and he saved the man's life. That's exactly how he saved the man's life. He pulled him into the middle of the trench, and they both lay down in the middle of the trench, and the train went right over the top of them, and they both survived unscathed, okay? So you can survive if you lay down in the middle of the tracks. You have, what I've actually done when I was filming graffiti, I've actually put a camera there and I let the train roll over it. Okay, let me see if I can pull up some of that footage now of the camera going over the train, and that'll show you that there's space. If the camera can fit, you know, that'll show you there's space. What I've actually done with a parked train is I've actually walked a parked train. I've walked underneath the train and came out on the other side. So I'm letting you know there is actual space between there. If you lay down and if you fold your arms and don't move your arms out because there are moving parts underneath the train that may hit you, okay? This is a very last resort. Don't play around with this. Don't play it as a joke. You may get hit by one of those moving parts, okay? But worst case scenario, the train is bearing down on you and you got 5 seconds, live or die. You go right down in the middle, you cross your arms, and you don't move. Okay? That's 4 possible ways that you can survive if you fall into the train tracks. Now, I'm hoping you never need this information. I hope you never end up in the train tracks. If you're a prankster, trust me, do not play around the train tracks. It's dangerous, okay? Please let me know what you think about this information. Hoping you'll never need it. If you do need it and it helps you, I'm very glad for you. Let me know. Survive. Subscribe. I meant to say subscribe and survive. Subscribe, like the video, and place a comment. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much. Ali TV. Peace out.